colleagues. My son's called Sebastian, he's nearly 4 months old.
My name's Jasmine, my son's called Harvey and he's nearly a year old.
We're here to give you a better understanding what it's like being a young parent.
And to take a look at the public and media's views on us.
And what support there is for us.
And what the reality of being a young parent is.
I don't think people quite realise how much hard work babies are.
Well, in a sense, I feel it's a bit of a shame because I think it's nice to enjoy your youth without the responsibilities of a baby.
I think it's important that young people know the consequences of a pregnancy and making it as all a free choice rather than an accidental choice.
I wouldn't say it's a bit of a generalisation really, isn't it? I mean, the thing is, it's probably a minority group of teenage mums that do that, and that's just really unfair, but then the papers are unfair.
The media stereotypes are almost always really negative around young people and young parents. There are lots of things that I can think of. The one that really gets on my nerves is the one that says all teenage girls get pregnant to get a house. And having worked with teenage mums and dads for as long as I have, I know how difficult it is for people like you to have the kind of houses that those people that are writing those media articles have.
Well, the media, as in the serious media, I think, it's always going to be the big stories that hit the headline, like 11-year-olds in Scotland and twins to 12-year-olds. That's always going to make headline news. Your basic, hard-working young mum is never going to make headline news. People like Vicky Pollard, I suppose, they've sort of represented her having 12 children in a buggy and stuff, and swapping her babies for a Westlife CD or something. I mean, it's all very funny, and it's great when you look at it realistically, but you are going to get sort of sectors of society who are going to look at that and think that that is a representation of young parents, and it's not necessarily the case.
Okay, so would you support a teenage mum, say, if your daughter got pregnant?
Yes, daughter, yes. But overall, no, I don't think so.
Okay, so you're not...
I think maybe they get too much help.
You have to think carefully before entering anything like that, really.
Okay, well, I work for the Teenage Pregnancy Strategy Unit for Norfolk, which is part of Norfolk County Council. And that unit coordinates all of the work that goes on within the county around teenage pregnancy.
I work directly with young people and their families and have done for many years. And what I do is when a young person has problems with education, I get referred from the school, go and see the young person and try and get them back into school. And if that doesn't work, then try and find other things that maybe they'll want to do in various places, like this sort of project, really.
Teenage pregnancy is something people like to talk about a lot, but I don't know if it actually is as prevalent as everyone feels it is.
There's a teenage pregnancy strategy for the whole of the UK, and the reason for that is because around about the late 1990s, the government realised that we have a way higher teenage conception rate in the UK than any other country in the whole of Western Europe.
I suppose it all depends on how you look at figures, really. I mean, I'm not really up to speed on teenage pregnancies. I think that it's obviously an issue. I think it's something that we need to be educated on. I suppose relatively controversially, I've seen quite a few young mums, and the fact that they've had a baby young has been, quite a positive thing for them. Because it's hard work, and no one's, I think as long as people know it's hard work, then at least you'll go into it sort of with your eyes open.
Yeah, I've got 2 children, Callum who's 12 and Emily who is 8. I got pregnant when I was 16, so quite a long time ago now. And I've also got my own company, which I've had now for about 3 years. I think the media makes it really difficult for young parents. I think we're almost set up to fail before we start. There wasn't the services and stuff around that there is now. I was pretty much on my own. When I had Callum and I was in the hospital, they thought he was my second child, so I didn't even get taught how to bath my child, how to put his nappy on, nothing.
So the way it links in with teenage parents is to try to get services and organisations working to the best that they possibly can with teenage parents.
I think my job is becoming more open-minded to letting young people access education as a whole. I think schools in general are realising they can't exclude a young person just because she's pregnant.
I'd always said I was never going to have children, got all the way to 17. But I found it really difficult. It wasn't something that came naturally to me. It took me a while to bond with my son, but now we are incredibly close, and that bond I think will always be there.
I feel like I can talk to her a bit more than I could someone, well, what would everybody else calls an older mum.
And I think we have a different relationship perhaps than somebody that's a little bit older than me. I think the things that we do together are different, and I think he often says to me the way that I understand what he's talking about is different as well, because we're perhaps a little bit nearer in age. If I'd known what I know now, I'd still have my children and I wouldn't change anything, but I might have made different decisions earlier on in life about my own sort of sexual health and my own sort of relationship decisions and things, which might have changed slightly how I've done things.
It's hard, it's tough, and nobody tells you how tough it is. Nobody sort of, at the mother and baby groups, they tell you how to push it out, they tell you how to feed it, they maybe tell you how you're going to feel after it's born. They certainly don't tell you about the piles, don't tell you about the screaming all night and what do you do when you can't stop it screaming. They don't tell you about the fact that nobody really sort of helps you after 3 months. But there's an awful lot of positive stuff. There's an awful lot of good fun stuff. And if you can have a really good relationship with your baby, then it'll be there for life. And it doesn't have to stop your life too.
I think if you've got a baby, you can make the best of it at whatever age.
Okay, so just look at the camera and say young parents are actually amazing and they're great.
Well, young parents are, because I was one, and yeah, they're great.
So, we're at the end of our project then, what do you think you've learned?
I don't know, I think it's quite interesting. Like, before we done this, I thought that everyone thought of us really negatively, but since we've asked the public's views and stuff, a lot of them don't actually think it's as negative as the press publicise, if that makes sense. We've also learned a lot about the other services that are there to help young parents and teenage people who are pregnant and stuff. So it's we've learned a lot more about who could help as well.
And it's nice also to meet other young people in the same situation as yourself.
And make more friends and stuff by doing this DVD.
Thanks for watching our film. I hope it gives you food for thought.
This film was made purely by young mums. I'd like to give a last word to them.
I think having kids is great, but I think you should be in a stable relationship. I'm happily married and have been for over a year now.
My name's Chelsea, I'm 15 and I'm 27 weeks pregnant. I love hanging around here with new mums and little kids and that.
Just because you have children, that doesn't mean that you can't work or do different courses, because I done it and I got an award for it.
I think if this film was out before I had my son, I'd have thought twice about having a child my age.
I've really enjoyed doing the film. It's given me a lot of confidence, and Hayden's enjoyed playing with everyone else as well.
This is called My Experience, and it's a poem I wrote myself. Being a teen mum was scary to me, but motherhood came instinctively. I told my mum the news, she laughed with glee. My dad just stood there and scowled at me. I'd only been with my boyfriend 6 short months. Our relationship wasn't exactly top trumps. He said he loved me, was it true? Now I was pregnant, he didn't know what to do. He told me to get an abortion, he didn't want the baby. He warned me off with caution, he didn't want say maybe. I said no, I put him on the spot. I'm having this baby whether you like it or not. He eventually came round and said he'd stay. He didn't want the baby, he didn't have a say. The weeks passed, then the months. The baby's limbs just looked like stumps. The scans were great, I just couldn't wait. I wanted my baby to hurry up. I didn't want to keep peeing in a cup. I wanted to lose my enormous bump. I just looked like a huge fat flump. The time had come, the end of my pregnancy, the end of an era, the end of a legacy. He was a week late and wouldn't come out. I just wanted to scream and shout. I had to have a C-section. It was rather scary. I'm glad I shaved and wasn't hairy. My baby was out and on my chest. What a lovely place for him to rest. He doesn't cause me pain and strife. He's the best thing that's happened in my life.